Hi, my friends. It's been a little while. I'm trying to find a spot that got good light for you. Since I've done a live feed for Evolve Life, been just focusing on living it myself. So I guess that I've been, just been doing that thing and making sure that I have a lot of joy going on in my life, and not just teaching the practices that help me to manifest some really epic moments in my life and experiences, and instead, let's see if that will work. Actually, just living it myself, and it's been a really cool journey these last few weeks, and definitely had some bumps in the road, but overall, like, it's just so cool to see how things come together when you practice certain techniques, and really keep you on track for what it is that you want. And the first thing is, of course, you have to know exactly what you want, or try to have some clarity around that. Even if it's just a little bit of clarity, getting started there is super important. So I wrote a few notes down. Please stick with me. I really these things work so well to bring joy and abundance and love into my life. And it doesn't mean that I don't have bad moments or bad times where things happen like completely unexpected for me. That happens too. But this is kind of like a way to make it so those moments are shorter and less painful. And then actually, it gives me an opportunity to learn from them actually every time those things go wrong, so that I have less of those moments. So it's something that you can practice consistently, and it will continue to build so that you actually have more joy in your life and you get more of what it is that you want. So the whole premise I want to really talk about tonight is abundance, and like, what does abundance mean, and how do we get into a state where we can have abundance around us? Because right now, I believe that there's an epidemic. I really believe there's a lot of people that are living in fear and scarcity, like there's never enough. Like, maybe they're going to run out of money or love or happiness or any of those things. And we'll get into that a little bit more later. Um, and the only way that you can actually cure that scarcity or that lack, that fear, is actually to be able to know that you have enough and you're always going to have access to it. So, what is abundance? And by the way, before I get into this, if what I'm saying does not resonate with you, if any one part of it or all of it doesn't, or maybe two parts or whatever it is, fine, like, throw it away. But I do really encourage you to try it on and see how it works for you. I'm going to be interactive here, so please give me any kind of feedback that you have as well. If it doesn't feel good to you, then don't do anything that I'm saying. So take my advice or not. So I can only share what's worked for me and worked for others in my life that I've seen, like, consistently these things seem to bring about more joy and more great things in our lives, which is why I'm sharing with you. So if you're on board for that, give me a little thumbs up or give me a little heart. That always means so much to me to see those things come across the screen. And we'll get rolling on all this stuff right now. So what does it actually abundance mean? Before I start talking about these words, I want to try to define them a little. So abundance means an extremely plentiful or over sufficient quantity or supply. That means, like, you have so much you're not going to use it all. So think of the ocean. You're not going to run out of ocean. You're not going to run out of water or drops of water. When you think about the ocean, it's like, oh, it's just endless. It's just completely endless. So what areas of your life, start thinking about what areas of your life do you have that feeling where you have abundance in your life? Like, I'm never going to run out of X, Y, or Z. Like, one of those might be air, right? So right in here, like, some of the things that maybe you want abundance of, or something that you already know you have abundance of. If you could write in the comments, that would be really helpful so I know that we're on the same track. So some of the things that a lot of people want more of is they want more love, or they want more connection with other people, or money, right? It seems like everybody really wants more money. It's very far and few between somebody that says they don't want more money. Even, I want more money, even though I've got a pretty good abundance of it. But there are moments where I have a weird lack feeling, even though I've got millions of dollars. So it's perfectly natural wherever you're at to want to have more money. And for some reason we have this negative connotation around it. I think we have an abundance of water available to us and air and food, albeit we have done a good job at polluting it and reducing that supply somehow in the last decade, but we still do have an abundance of it. So what are the things that you want abundance of? Like, just comment right now, whatever those things are, and that'd be really, really great if you could share that with me. Um, so then maybe think about some of the things you don't want abundance of. Like, for example, you don't want abundance of alcohol in your blood content when you get pulled over, or you're going through a DWI check, right? Or DUI checkpoint, whatever it might be. So that's one of those things. I wouldn't want abundance of that, right? Absolutely not. I don't want any blood in my alcohol stream. So what else do you not want abundance of? Like, maybe not fear, maybe not frustration or worry or anger or any of those things. So comment in here, please, and give me some kind of feedback. So I know we're like on the same kind of wavelength, and where you're following along here. The more feedback you give me, the more I can tailor this to you. A lot of times the comments are not working, but today I'm actually working off my computer, so I have them. So that's give me some ideas of, say, I want more abundance of this, or I have abundance of this, or I don't want more abundance of this. I don't want more problems, right? Everybody's got too many problems. I don't need more problems. So what are some of the things that you have? And now we're going to get into, like, what is the opposite of abundance, to really truly figure out where our problems are and how we can improve our lives. It's usually actually not looking about what we're doing right. We can look at that to a point and do more of it, but a lot of times we have to look at our pain points. So the opposite of abundance is, so the other side of the coin of abundance would be scarcity or lack. And that means insufficiency or shortness of supply, rarely or infrequently, like it doesn't happen often. And that would be like a scarcity mindset, when you don't have enough, not enoughness is. Can you say that? I don't know. So a lot of times we think of scarcity as being a bad thing, but there are moments where scarcity actually is a good thing. Like, you probably don't want a herd of elephants running around your room right now. So sometimes scarcity can be a good thing. The truth is that the desire for scarcity or abundance, being good or bad, is only because we placed a judgment on it. There might be some elephant trader out there that would love to have an abundance of elephants running around his room. I would not want to have a bunch of elephants around in here, because it would probably scare the crap out of me. So in any case, a lack or abundance or scarcity or any of those things, the judgment we put on it, it's always like that circumstantialness. And I'm telling you guys this, and I'm going into it kind of in depth here, because it's really important when we apply it to situations in our lives, that we can have this outlook on this where it's not attached to our lives, right? So if we can see that, abundance can be good or bad in any case, then when we want abundance of something, we know it's not really the abundance that is the thing that's good. It's actually our judgment that it's good. It's not even the thing that's necessarily good. Like, sometimes an elephant could be a good thing, and sometimes it could be a bad thing, right? Sometimes alcohol can be a great thing, and sometimes it can be an awful thing. So tell me if you're following along here with me, and write any questions. I'm going to be popping back and forth, because I actually have some notes on this, because I want to make sure I really, really drive some of this stuff home for you guys, because it's really, really important to understand and really capture the essence of this, because when you put it in practice, it will be so much easier. I could just tell you the steps to take, and then you'll be like, why? Like, it doesn't really make sense why I'm doing this. And I have to say, just trust me, it works. So I'm giving you a lot more background than I normally do. And if this format works, then I'll do more of it, right? So, some of the things that you could be lacking right now, where it would be good, where you could have a scarcity of, maybe you don't have a headache, right? You have a scarcity of a headache, or a pain in your foot, or an alcoholic partner, or maybe you don't have debt, or maybe you don't have a snake in your bed. That scarcity of that stuff is good. So let's actually shift into applying this for a second. If you have something you want us to talk about, comment in here, and we'll jump on it. But right now, just think about something that you're really passionate about, something you really, really want to achieve. Just in your mind's eye, think about that thing. If you could do anything you wanted, imagine doing it. Get that kid like energy excitement that you get. And then all of a sudden, what ends up coming in for all of us, if we're not doing it already, it comes the but. The what about this? What are people going to say about me? What are people going to think about me? We're all such great freaking mind readers, apparently, right? We worry about what other people think, and we think we know what other people are thinking, when half the time we don't even know what we're thinking because we're too busy thinking about what somebody else is thinking or what somebody else is going to say or somebody else is going to do. That's usually like the concern that actually comes up for us a lot of times is this belief that we can read what other people's minds are and that we actually know what's going on. That's usually one of the biggest things that hold us back from being our biggest, brightest and self, is that somebody's going to say something to us and or think something poorly about us, or we're not going to be able to fulfill on some obligation that we've made. And an obligation that we made is just an obligation that we made that we chose to make, so we can always undo that stuff. So what ends up happening is we have to believe that that but is true to actually close us down from actually becoming part of that center stage, becoming like our fullest expression of ourselves. And if we, a lot of times we'll think about becoming part of the center stage and we'll be like, well, I don't know what people are going to think about me if I have money or I'm really doing great, because people will say I'm arrogant or I'm bragging or some kind of negative definition about who we are because we are being successful in some way. So we make ourselves smaller, we make ourselves shrink up. And this, I've done this so much for my life, and it really held me back from a lot of my success. And it really hurt me. And I still struggle with this at some points, believe it or not. And I still struggle with this, which is part of the reason why I have these as examples, because I know this is like my next level I need to let go of. Right. So I'm talking myself through this when I'm talking to you guys. So what ends up happening is when we project all of this nasty stuff on top of what we're doing, of what we want to do, what we believe to do, believes best from us, it's only holding us back from feeling joy. It's only holding us back from being the biggest version of ourselves. So anytime you think about that thing that gets you so pumped up, so excited, and then you have that, but what about blah, 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 you fill in the blank. Maybe you guys give me some whatabouts. Do you have any whatabouts for me? So I'm going to go, before I go on, give me any whatabouts you might have and that might be holding you back. And then I'm going to go on to the next portion of this. And I'm going to read some comments while you guys type this in here. So, Joe, do I feel there's always a balance? Will there always be lack? There is never enough. It can be both good and bad. Well, the balance is within you. This is always within you, Joe. Like, this is really always within you. You actually always have enough. So if we pop back to some of the things that I brought about the abundance of, right? What's important, what people think about. Love, right? Love is one of those things that for some reason we don't feel like we have enough of it. But the truth is, love exists within us. It's not somebody else that needs to give us love. We are like walking beings of love if we allow ourselves to be loving. That's all we have to do, is to be loving, and we experience love. It's not somebody else that has to give us love for us to feel love. It's actually us loving ourselves, loving our life. And we have a choice in doing that. And sometimes those choices, that's harder than others. And there's a lot of little things, usually where we find some kind of lack, where we're not enough, to make us believe otherwise. But the truth is, we are just like walking vessels of love. Another one would be connection. We are walking vessels of connection. We can connect to anybody we want if we actually take that time to do it. A lot of times we don't take the time to do it. So if you have something specific where you're feeling like there's a scarcity of, write it down and let's kind of deconstruct it, because what we're going to do is we're going to take that and we're going to change the emotion around it, and then we can actually move past that feeling of it, because we actually have everything we need right in front of us. If we didn't, we wouldn't be alive. We wouldn't be on Facebook watching right now. We wouldn't have these opportunities. So I hope that, let me know if that kind of clears it up a little bit for you or not. But if it does, then great. But yes, as you're saying right here, happiness is by choice. It is up to us. But it is sometimes hard to stay in that place of happiness. But we do actually choose that. So what I'm going to teach you guys is a method to start weeding out and pulling out those things that actually hurt us, the things that slow us down from that, the weeds that we have in our mind that don't let us be our fullest expression. So this is going to be a practice I'll teach you guys in a moment here. So most people fail in life because they major in minor things. I think most people actually fail in life is a little bit different. I think people fail in life because they don't actually go after it. They don't pursue it. Like, are you doing everything in your power right now in your life to go after what you want? Or are you playing on Tinder? Or are you getting upset about what Trump said or some other politician, or getting upset about some other news story or something like that? Those things can like really hold you back. Or you even actually continuing to think. Like I found out the other day, like I realized that I was thinking 3 steps into a problem, and then I'd be like, oh my God, I'm so overwhelmed. Then I would just be doing this in my head. This is the voice I had. Thinking the problem, I get 3 steps into it and I'm like, wow, this is too big for me to figure out. And I actually was telling myself this. And what I ended up having to do was actually reverse back and say, wait a second, what is it that I can do to help myself move forward? So I started writing it down more. I wrote down those 3 steps that I already knew, and guess what happened? The next 3 steps came in. So what are we doing to actually move forward? So that's really, really, really what it comes down to. Is what are we doing? Are we actually thinking, or are we just mindlessly riding around in this, whatever it is, this matrix, and being bumped around by every single thing that's coming into our way? So what else do we have here in comments? Yeah, roll absolutely less drama. Don't give a fuck about what anybody else thinks. That's their shit. So it makes things a lot easier. So Dina wanting more positive results. So great. This is perfect segue to the next part of this. So guys, whatever it is, whatever your but was. So think about for a second, again, if you're just joining us, think about the thing that you want the most, the thing you want to do the most, the thing you want to be the most, the thing you want to have the most. And really you have to be it to have it. So what type of person would have those things is always a question I like to ask myself. But think about that thing that gets you so excited, and then think about whatever your but is. And what you're going to do with that but. That but, I can't have it because what would people say? Well, that identifies your limiting belief. So I can't have it because what would people say is one of the millions, infinite number of infinite beliefs. But typically us humans, we're worried about what other people will say, what other people will think, or some other simple one. So if you have something besides that, feel free to write in the comments and we'll add that in, and I'll try to make sure the answer addresses this. So when you visualize whatever it is, the buts come to the surface, and they come to the surface so we can deal with them. The problem is that most of us stop right there. That but comes in and we just quit. We go back to our normal life. We try to hide the limiting belief. We push it down. We're like, I don't want to deal with that. And we just exposed it so we could actually transcend it. But if we don't actually look at it and say, whoa, where did that limiting belief come from? Why does that even matter? Then we get stuck. It will just pop back up to the next time. It holds us back and it says, nope, not for you. People will say you're mean. People will say you're nice. People will walk all over you. People will think you're a pushover. People will think you're too smart. People will think you're bragging. Does any of this resonate with you guys? Has any of this ever happened, gone on in your head? Because it happens in my head all the freaking time. So how I deal with it is by going through this process. So first of all, just realizing with those specific ones, like what people think about us, it doesn't matter. First of all, we probably don't have it right. And second of all, it doesn't matter anyway. So the first thing when you have that belief come up is you want to take that belief, whatever that but is, and we want to actually, instead of feeling like a resistance or an anger towards that belief, which is what usually happens, we feel that inner voice pushing us down, and we have a feeling of, oh, not this again. Oh man, I can't believe my mind's going through here. Or, people are so mean. Or, I can't believe that they would do that. And we go down this whole story. But instead of doing that, we want to capture that belief and say, okay, so where has this belief helped me in the past? Like, is it possible that this belief helped me in the past? Well, you know what? There was one time, actually, when I was in high school and I wanted to run for the talent show, but I didn't prepare for it. And then I was scared to go up there, and I probably would have just embarrassed myself and made a fool of myself because I didn't even think about what I would say if I got up there. So maybe it did serve me from just making myself look like an idiot because I didn't even prepare for this in the past. But now I know that I can prepare for it. Now I know I can think this through. Now I know that I can actually build my confidence. But at one point, that belief that somebody was going to yell at me when I was a small kid for doing X, Y, and Z actually served me and prevented me from getting into trouble. So let me know if you guys are staying with me right now. Does this make sense? And if it doesn't make sense, tell me it doesn't make sense. So that would be really, really helpful before I move in any further. Because the first thing you want to do, you're going to visualize. Again, we're going to just break this down. Visualize what it is that you love, like what you want to do, and get like that whole excitement, and you start pretending that you're doing it and thinking about that you're actually walking up on stage, or you're getting on a microphone, or you're playing in your rock band, or whatever it is. And then that but says, okay, this is your limiting belief, that you believe that people are going to judge you and people aren't going to accept you, would be one limiting belief, right? Or I'm not good enough would be another one. Now, once you have that belief, you have to challenge that belief and say, is that true 100% of the time? It's not going to be true 100% of the time. All you have to do is find one time where it's not true. And then it's not always true. That means that it doesn't have to be true. It can be like completely untrue. So you're going to do that. I really hope I don't get interrupted here. And then what you're going to do is you're going to actually love that belief, because that belief actually protects you. So just think about how that belief at some point has served you, has helped you somewhere in your life. And the moment you can embrace that belief and realize that it actually has some positive merit to it, that's when you can transcend to the positive belief. What would you like that belief to say? Instead of people are going to judge me and put me down, maybe you want to say, well, people actually really do support me. People are going to help me along the way. And if you think about this in your life, and I'm just using this one example, but you can do it for yourself. If you have another one, just comment it. Maybe we can go through it. But if all you have to think about is the one point in time, somebody helped you get farther. Somebody did support you, even when you thought that you were going to be all alone in it. And that's the beauty of this process, is all you have to do is discover that belief, and then you realize that it's not true. And then guess what? You can start to step into that person you've always dreamed that you can be. Don't leave anything on the table. We well, I shouldn't say all, almost all of us, 99% of the population leaves something on the table, and we don't pursue our dreams. And right now, we're in a time of so much opportunity. There is so much abundance. And if you can believe that you are love, that everything's possible, then all you have to do is start with yourself. You have to believe in yourself. You can't believe in anybody else if you don't believe in yourself. Now, you might not know what to do and what all those steps are to make the reality that you want to create, to actually be that manifester. But you won't know those steps until you start to believe it to be true. And when you start to believe it to be true, these steps will start to appear. You'll start asking yourself different questions. You won't be asking yourself, what can I do to get more people through the gate, Dina or Joe, if you're still on here? You'll be asking yourself, how can I build a community of individuals, of thousands of people that just want to come hang out, that would love to just pay to come hang out? And when you start asking questions like that, what can I do to give back to the world and create value? How can I bring more joy to my community? How can I have them more centered? You start asking yourself questions like that, and things amplify. They become so much greater than just saying, how do I get 10 more people to come to the racetrack? And I use the racetrack as the example for those of you that don't know me, because I do have San Antonio Raceway, and I saw that two of my employees were on here, and they're really, really trying their best to make that place really hum, and they work really hard, and they're very passionate about what they do, and they don't always get the results that they hope that they're going to get. And I know what that feels like. I know everybody watching this knows what that feels like. You don't always get the outcomes that you want, but when you get those other outcomes, we need to actually see if they upset us, why they upset us, because that reason that they're upsetting us is why they keep happening over and over and over again. We have to look at the reason why they're upset with it. We're upset about it, and then be okay with that reason for it to transmute into like a new experience for us, because we're not getting the lesson until we can actually let go of the outcome and the pain that we project onto ourselves. So I'm going to give you guys, feel free to comment if this makes sense or it doesn't make sense. If you want me to elaborate, let me know. But I'm going to just give you a quick story of how this has worked for me. All right. So, one thing that happened was when I was living in Texas, which was not long ago, when I first got married with my wife, we were out in the sticks. We were out at a ranch, beautiful place to be. But my wife was supposed to move to New York. And I promised her that I would, at some point, bring her back to the city. I didn't know when. I don't think she even believed me. But I did make that commitment to her. And about 6 months ago, I realized it was time. I realized it was time for us to move back to a city and actually start reintegrating to people our age that do the things that we do, and really take the bull by the horns with that. And for better or worse, San Antonio was not the place to stay at the time, right? We definitely want to go back at some point. It's a beautiful place. But I realized that it was now the time. So I just planted a stake that at the end of the summer, that we would be leaving San Antonio, and we would be hitting different cities to see where we want to live, or traveling to cities and figuring it all out. And I didn't know what I was going to do. I had no idea. So many doubts came up in my mind. What am I going to do with Cycle Ranch? I have Roll there. Roll's great guy. Definitely puts his hard work in, but also needs some kind of guidance, some kind of direction to really become bigger than he is when he's on his own, as we all do. We all need that kind of mentorship and somebody to help us in those ways. I've got the Raceway. Same deal. At the time, it was really, Dina's the only one left of that team that was there when I made this decision. What am I going to do? Well, how can I help support her so that she can step up and step into the person that she needs to be? And then I have a house, the whole ranch. Well, how am I going to sell this thing? These things take over a year to sell. So all these limiting beliefs came into my mind. What's going to happen with all this stuff? But because I planted this stake and was willing to allow any outcome that could happen to happen, before the summer was over, I had somebody fixing up Cycle Ranch and taking that over and taking on my entire role and doing it in a way that actually really benefits not only Cycle Ranch, not only the team I already had there, Roll and anybody else that comes out and works, not that equipment, all the riders, all the people that are involved in that place. It benefited them. It served them better than I served them. And it also was more rewarding for me financially and with my time. The value I got out of it was significantly better than the value I'd been getting out of it for the last 3 years because I planted that stake. My house. Well, planted that stake. Guess what? Somebody came out of nowhere, rented out my house. They did a lease with an option to buy, made a super, super great deal for me and for them. They got exactly what they needed, exactly when they needed it, but I didn't even know it was going to happen. I had no idea it was going to happen, but I made the commitment that I would be making this leap because I went with a mind of abundance instead of getting caught down by all these, what will people think about me? Now the Raceway, those guys are doing an excellent job in many ways, and we'll see what happens with everything and how that will work out. But I know deep down inside that any reason it doesn't work is because I've got some limiting belief around it. So I'm looking to uncover that and see what that is, if there is one, or maybe I just have to trust in the process, and this is a test for me, and I can sit here and believe in that because I know that I am connected to all that is. I know that I'm connected to the isness of existence, and that is infinite, just like you are. That's what gives each of us the power to serve each other better today. That gives us the power to become bigger than we ever were before, is knowing that we are connected to what most of you call God. Some of you call source. Some of you just call a higher power. I call it all of those things. But really, you create your future by choosing which beliefs to embrace right now, in this moment, and in the moment ago, and in the next moment that's coming. So hold fast to your new belief. It's going to be hard when you have this belief that these people are going to judge me or somebody's going to say this. We've thought it a million times, and it's hard to let go sometimes. But the sooner you do, and soon as that new belief becomes part of who you are, the more and more abundance you're going to have. So all you have to do is just keep looking for evidence, little pieces of evidence. So I'm going to check out any comments here. Let me just tell you, though, if you have fear or hate or any negative emotion towards a belief, towards a person, towards an idea, all you're doing is giving your power to that more. And guess what happens when you do that? You drink the poison of the negativity. So you're actually the one that gets harmed, not the other person by being angry at them. So let me just check the comments here, and then I'm going to just wrap up with a few things. Feel free to write anything right now. It's like perfect time. So, and give me some likes, give me some loves, give me some shares. Other people need to hear this stuff. And if this is motivating you to like step your game up, even if it's stepping your game up a little bit, just tell me like I'm motivated. Like that helps me to know where I'm at in my messaging, and it helps me to become more motivated. So, let's see. Ted, I totally get it. Too much. Oh, you left too much on the table already. Bro, you are where you are because it's where you need to be. We only start from where we are, so it doesn't matter if you left things on the table in the past. Then you left them on the past. Be angry about yourself for a moment. You can only punish yourself once. That's like a rule of life. You can only punish yourself once. You can only punish someone else once. You can't keep harping on it. So if there's something you left on the table in the past, that's fine. Like, fine, be mad at yourself and be happy that you can even be mad at yourself because it means you're alive. That's awesome. You can feel it. You can be like frustrated, like, what the fuck? I can't believe I did that. That's fine. And then in the moment you can be like, wow, I can feel this sense of aliveness, this sense of isness, this sense of who I am, like what I could have done. Guess what? You can always start from where you are. You can always give who you are. So give it. Whatever it is. It doesn't matter what you did in the past, how you messed up in the past. It's fine. We've all messed up in the past. We've all left bullshit on the table. We all forgot to pursue our dreams one day of the week. And you know what? It's going to happen again. It's going to happen again. And you know what? If you choose to just chill out for a day and you don't work towards your dreams, that's okay too. Just be happy that you did it. Just be happy that you actually took a day for yourself to chill out. Like, that's cool. It's awesome. Like, I chill out all the time. It's half of what allows me. My next thing that I'm working on is I want to learn how to do the effortless life. And I want to be able to teach that to everybody so we can just be like effortless about things and just totally chill out and really, really enjoy and watch things come to us because it's always coming at us. It's just us being mad that it's not what we said we wanted it to be. One of an infinite number of things coming towards us that we're requesting. Universe, give me this one. I just want M&Ms that are only blue. And then we get a green one and we're like, what? Why did I get a green one? That's the way we're behaving. We're behaving like snots. We're always getting things. We're always getting experiences. We're always getting choices. We're always getting emotions. We're always getting thoughts. We're always getting opportunities. But it's us resisting and saying that it's not the one that I wanted that allows us or makes it so we don't see it. So, Joe, yeah, collecting data and all that stuff, that's great operational stuff to do, but it's really the vibe and the attitude. It's the belief in the possibility. And how are we putting that out there? How are we putting out the belief in what the calling and what the reason is? You know, churches get people coming there not because they collect data about it. It's because they have a message. They have an experience. They're uplifting people. They're bringing people together. They're building community. It's not because they crunched the data. Like, yeah, of course we don't want to repeat the same mistakes, but that's moot. We shouldn't even make them in the first place if we actually have a certain level of connection to what our cause is and what our purpose is. So, yeah. Thank you, Ted. I appreciate that. That really, really, really helps. I'm glad that I light a fire. I know these live feeds can go a little bit long and it's just whatever. It's just sometimes crazy. So, yeah. And as far as feeling guilty chilling, I've had such a problem with this. And one of the beautiful things about my wife is she is really good at chilling out. So I can use her as an excuse. And then sometimes when I chill too much, then I can blame her, which only takes any power away from me, which is the worst thing to do, which I've done. Oh, don't do it anymore. Because I realized that it was just bullshit. It was just my own bullshit. But the thing is, we do need to rest. We do need to recover. We do need to actually take a moment for ourselves. It's in that point of rest that we can have the most amazing insights, that we can come back so strong. So one of the ways I like to describe it is when you're surfing, if you're paddling out to the waves, there's a time when you paddle really, really hard, right? When that wave kind of sucks you towards it. And then you got to get over it before it crashes on top of you, right? But not when the wave's coming towards you, because what actually happens is you'll be so exhausted by the time you get out there, you won't be able to catch a wave. So when the tide is coming out, we'll say this direction is out, that's like you want to chill a little bit. It's like you're exhale. To inhale requires effort. To exhale requires that relaxation. That's the same thing we need to learn to do, especially us men. Us men are just go, 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 go. And guess what happens? Then all of a sudden we crash. We're exhausted. And then we feel like we didn't do enough because now we're so crashed and we're so exhausted and we can do nothing and we're frustrated and now we feel guilty about it and then we are mad at ourselves for being guilty and guilty about being mad about it and then sad and then frustrated and then it's no good. But if we can take, I mean, whatever religion you are, there's a day of rest. There's a day of rest for a reason. So whether it's your Saturday, your Sunday, or you make it whatever day you want it to be, there should be a day where you chill out and reflect and really, really think about what it is that you want. Because if you're always moving, Ted, you're going to be exhausted. So that's all I could say about that. I hope that helps. Let me know if it does or doesn't. But and if it doesn't, just throw it all out there. Like throw it away. If something I say doesn't resonate with you, it's fine. You can call me an asshole. So and it won't bother me one bit. So yeah, Gabby, yes, this is supposed to be fun. This is something I said to her about actually our marriage because we were bickering a lot. And one time I just looked at her, I'm like, dude, this marriage is supposed to be fun. And we're like bickering over dishes. Dishes are so freaking petty. Why the fuck are we bickering about dishes? But we all do it. We do it about traffic. We do it about being late to an appointment. We do it about that person that looked at us funny. That person that we thought something about us. We do it. It's so silly. So silly. So, yeah, Kat took a few days of work, went back a new person. Yeah, Ted, you get tired as fuck. That's what happens. And guess what? Put your feet up, enjoy it. Do whatever it is that makes you happy. To just relax, watch Netflix, get laid, get a blowjob. I don't know. Smoke a joint, whatever makes you happy. Have a beer. Just write down what's going through your head. You got all these ideas. You're trying to get some clarity on it. Some of the things that actually best help me to relax and rest is just get everything out of my head. So I just write things down. And as I write them down, it's like I don't have to think about it anymore. I don't have to think about it. And it makes it so much easier. So I would absolutely recommend testing that out. Let me know how any of this stuff works for you too. And if it doesn't work, tell me. I want to know. If it does work, I do definitely want to know because I want to make sure I keep helping other people and spreading it. And speaking of helping other people, share this. Please, 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 please share this so somebody else watches it because if you can help improve the life of the people around you, they'll help improve your life and then more great stuff will happen and it will be a ripple effect and this world can finally be chill and peaceful. And we can stop with this insanity in all of our heads. So I'm just going to check through the comments here and see if there's anything that I missed. Feel free to pop any of this stuff, comments in there. I'll look at it before I pop off. Yes, Dina, already always listening. That's the way Landmark talks about some of this. So you're absolutely right that already always listening is just a tech terminology. If you guys never heard of Landmark Forum, I highly encourage you to check it out. If you're in Texas, Dina can take you to one of the events and you can see what it's all about. If you're in Florida, we're going to an event actually this Thursday, so come out and join us. Otherwise, just Google it. You can get into it anywhere. Everybody that I know that's done that program has a level of integrity that's like really, really, really cool. Smoking just makes me have my ideas more. Cool. So you have ideas. That's like, know how many people would love to have ideas? You have ideas. Oh, well, great. Great, you have ideas. And you're not going to do them all. See which one feels good. That's the one you do, the one that like makes your heart sing. And if none of them make your heart sing, none of them are the right idea. The right idea will come along as long as you look for that energy where you're like, that's awesome, I want to do that. And you might do it, and you might do it for 2 weeks, and you might be like, this sucks. Cool, I'm going to go do the next one. We don't have to do anything. We don't. It's our life. We have free will. We have this thing called choice. And the sooner we start realizing that, the sooner we're going to act in love. And then we're going to enjoy our lives. And then we're going to bring joy to people around us. And good things will happen. It's okay. I know that the old way of thinking said, you've got to pick one thing and you're going to do it for the rest of your life. I don't subscribe to that belief. It seemed to serve me really well. I just signed a lease on a penthouse and that's on the beach in Miami. that is in a wellness resort. I didn't even know these things existed. And wait till I do some videos from there. You guys are going to be like, this guy's an asshole. But then you're going to be like, I want to go visit him. So choose with what feels good to you. Yes, Gabby said, choose powerfully. Yeah, amazing stuff. So guys, any guys on here, I also recommend check out the Evolved Life. The Evolved Man. It's a men's group. We talk about all kinds of stuff about men's stuff, so we don't have to have the women getting upset about it. And we can say whatever we want, however we want to say it, and try to figure out how we can better interact with our partners or better get along with things. Ladies, check out Modern Femininity. Gabby, if you want to post links to those two right now, if you're still on, that would be really, really cool so people can check those out. Gabby does amazing work with women, and actually she's only got one client left that she can actually take on right now. She's so booked up. She actually only has one spot. She told me more like, oh my gosh, I only have one more I can do before I start working on the next project. So yeah, Ted, it is awesome. It is awesome. So and Gabby, if you want to post a link to the Carillion there and show people what it's all about, we might have some people showing up and like, can we come use one of the 4 pools? All right, guys. Let me just see here. JR Carmen, thank you so much for popping in here. I haven't seen you guys in a while. I miss each and every one of you guys more than I can even express on the live feed here. Seeing Joe, Dina, Brawl, and JR, Carmen, Kat, all you guys. I really thank you so much for popping on and interacting with me and sharing this and giving me some support here. It really means a lot to me. Kristen, haven't seen you forever. See that you joined in here. Ryan, my cousin, Elaine, great to see you on here. Elaine, go get in touch with Dina. I'm sure they could use some of your expertise at the Raceway. You are such a godsend and so talented. Tyler, dude, love you, guy, man. You are just killing it. I've seen you grow so much these last few months. Really, really great to see. Oh my gosh, there's so many here. So I would love to just list you all out. Dez, Pepe, wow, everybody. Thank you so much for joining in. Who else do we got here? Jackie, thank you for coming on. Kelly, Catherine. Thank you guys all so much for joining. Thanks for sharing this, giving me love, and let me know if there's something you want me to specifically talk about. Just message me, and we'll do a little talk on it. And I actually this talk was, I got through 2 pages of 7 that I wrote down today. So thank you for hearing me, seeing me, and I hope this brightened your night a little bit, and you got a little bit of excitement because now is a time for action, for you to go see what triggers you, what belief that comes up with. And how to change that belief so that this way you can have everything you want because you deserve it. All you have to do is act in it. And I'm gonna do a little community. I think I'm gonna do a little community on Evolve Life page. Let me know if you guys would like this, where people can have these kinds of thoughts, and we know that we're gonna get support, so there's not this crazy negativity that often happens on the Facebook. All right, guys, have a great night. I'm gonna go hang out with my wife. Cheers.